right, and welcome along to the Invincible podcast, brought to you today by AFTV PICK10. Don't forget to do your picks. Me and Lee will be running through ours later on that we've done for this week. Of course, Arsenal taking on Leeds United this weekend, right? Can't wait. The international break is over and we are back to the real thing. Actually, on the international break, Saka.
Oh my
Again,
God.
cemented himself as one of the top young players in the world, didn't he? What a goal that was for England. Goal and an assist in that game. The previous game against Italy, he was brilliant in that as well.
Yeah.
What a player we've got.
What a player. And I nearly cheered Harry Kane's goal because it was such a good pass from Saka. I was really cheering that, and then I see, unfortunately,
They got a good partnership, haven't they?
Yeah. Unfortunately, he was on the end of it, he couldn't miss, could he? It was an absolute wonder. He's been brilliant. Do you know, someone told me the other day, I think out of the last 15 or something international caps, he's got 9 man of the match awards.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. I remember he got voted England Player of the Year as well. You know, also he got his 21.
It's incredible.
You know, and just like I've said it on various shows that we've done, like even the fact that like every time you speak to one of those England teammates, they're always bigging him up. Oh, Saka, what a lovely kid, man. Oh, we just love him being around. But you know what I mean? So he's got everything at the moment, you know what I mean? And we've seen him doing it week in, week out for the club. And you know, normally with international breaks, you're sort of like, well, I don't know, man, injuries. Do we really want him playing in so many games? But actually, this might have helped him. The fact that he's just played 2 games and played really, really well.
Just giving that little bit more confidence.
Yeah, that might just give him that little bit more confidence going into the running that we're going to be having now. So, you know...
listen, me and you have always backed him, said how good he was, you know what I mean? There's certain people... You know, Turkish, that felt that they would like what's his name? Kulusevski in front of him. Well, I'll tell you what, one's gone, the other one's gone a little bit down this time, you know what I mean? He's elevated himself into, I think now, not world class yet, because he's got to prove it in the Champions League, but he's ticking the boxes to get up there, like, you know. It dominates game. Look at his finishing now. When he first come into the side, that was probably the weakest part of his game, but he's worked on that. You know what I mean? To get finishes like that for England, and don't forget he's done it for Arsenal this year on many occasions, like good goals and all that. And it's exciting, isn't it? It's exciting watching him. I really get a buzz when you're watching the young. You certainly get something more when they've come through the ranks, don't you?
Definitely.
I don't care what you say. There's a little bit more of a bond, isn't there? I can't explain it. It just is. You just want them all to do well. Yeah. And
you're rooting for them, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're rooting for them because they've come through the ranks. They know all about the club. They know what it means, and this is basically what they've been aiming for since they joined the academy, to be playing for the first team, and him just making such a great impression for England as well. It's great to see, because I remember going back to when the World Cup was in Russia, and I remember I went to that World Cup and there was not one Arsenal player in that England squad. The only one that was looking like he might make it was Danny Welbeck at the time.
Right, yeah.
And he got injured just before it, and there was not one. And then the thing about it was full of Tottenham players. Yeah. Full of Tottenham players.
Can't enjoy it, Robbie.
Yeah, and I was saying to myself, where are we at the moment that we can't get no players into that England squad? You know what I mean? But we've come back now, and we've got probably apart from Harry Kane, the best player in that squad. So it's really, really good to see. It was good to see Emil Smith-Rowe. He scored for the under-21s. That's good.
Tierney got minutes for Scotland.
Tierney was Tierney was brilliant for Scotland, right? And so, of course, Scotland pulled off that brilliant win over Spain, and Tierney was like integral to that. Him and Robertson down that side, they were brilliant, and Tierney had a great game. That would be great for his confidence. Thomas Partey had a win. Hopefully he's all right. I mean, he didn't play in the second game, but I think that was a precautionary thing.
Big up Chris Hughton. ex-Spurs.
Yeah?
He looks after the Arsenal.
Well, did you see what Arsenal did, though? They sent their physio with him.
Yeah.
Right? So probably as soon as after the game, he probably went, out for the next one.
Yeah, but that's fantastic.
But that's a smart... Again.
This is what you have to say about Arsenal these days. It's smart, isn't it?
Yeah.
When was that ever been done before? Who ever thought of that idea to say, well, I'll tell you what, you go out there with him, like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously Arsenal would have paid for all that, like, or whatever, it don't matter. But I think that's such a big thing, like, thinking out of the box, you know what I mean? Like, everything Arsenal do these days is so It's
like they're learning from their mistakes, which is a great thing. Now, we're just hoping that when, we're going to talk about the upcoming games, especially this one this week, but just hoping that, Saliba hopefully will be fit for the game.
Do you know what I said? And I'm going to be really honest with this, right? You watch. I guarantee as we're sitting here now, like, Rashford will play at the weekend. Right?
Yeah.
Haaland will play at the weekend.
Yeah.
If there's one player that won't play at the weekend, it's Saliba. Do you know what I mean? Like, But in saying that, I'd rather him be 100% for Liverpool than
Leeds. And then there's still
a massive game.
There's still Eddie as well. Eddie,
yeah.
You know what I mean? There was a lot of talk saying that he could be back after the...
well, we want him back in the squad, didn't we?
We
want everybody back in the squad.
You want a full squad rearing to go. Everybody's on there, hungry, you know what I mean? So if somebody has to come off, the next person just comes in for them and just get, it's clear now. The pathway is clear. 10 games to go. So we want everybody just rearing to go. But the international break.
I enjoyed the international break.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And fingers crossed, our players should be coming back, a lot of them feeling a bit better about themselves and feeling unscathed. Xhaka, Switzerland, had a good time of it as well. So, Odegaard not so much, although they did get a draw in their second game.
They've got a tough group, they haven't they?
Yeah, they've got a very tough group. But
that's the one thing I would say with this Haaland thing, like, whether, when people say that it's not true and all that, like, he's never played in a World Cup. Didn't play, obviously they didn't qualify. Ain't played in Europe. He must be desperate to play on the world stage.
Yeah.
So would the manager say to him, if you're not fit, I don't play in those 2 games? I believe he's genuinely injured.
Yeah.
I do believe.
It'd be interesting to see if he's fit for the weekend. Like you said, I reckon he will be.
Yeah, but
he will be.
I think there was probably a genuine injury there.
Yeah. I enjoyed the international break, and I'll tell you what, right? Last night, I went to watch the. Arsenal ladies versus Bayern Munich ladies, right? I took my 2 daughters with me as well, right? And we went to watch the game, and I have to say, what a game. What a brilliant game. What a performance by Arsenal, particularly in that first half.
Unreal.
They were absolutely brilliant. And I don't know if you saw the first goal.
Yes.
Frida Marnham. What a strike. That goal was one of the best goals I've seen this season.
Unreal.
I was right by it, sort of to the side of it as well. When she struck that, I was like, jeez. I mean,
no goalkeeper saved it.
No keeper saving it.
That's unreal.
It was a brilliant goal, right? The second goal as well by Blackstenius, right? Great header. And, a great win for Arsenal now into the semi-finals of the Champions League. And just overall, brilliant. There was 21,307, I think, came up on the screen, which I thought was incredible. Brilliant. Attendance Wednesday night.
Pouring rain.
I got absolutely soaked, right? Absolutely soaked walking to that game. But I'll tell you what, I was walking up to the game and I was thinking, bloody hell, man. Look at me. I'm just wet. But actually, it was worth every bit of it because it was a brilliant game. And I'll tell you what, this women's game, I've been to many, many women's games, but this women's game is getting bigger and better. I recommend it to fans out there. I recommend it. I saw a guy there that I was chatting to, and he's like, Robbie, I brought my 3 daughters along to watch the game. And he goes, you know what? He goes, I actually get to watch more women's games because he goes, all season I've been trying to get tickets for the men's games. Yeah. I really struggle. He goes, so I've kind of been going to more women's games because we're getting tickets, right? And he goes, I really enjoyed them. He goes, at first I was sort of doing it more for my daughters. And he goes, now I'm really into it, man. And he goes, you know, and it's kind of got its own flavour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the men's game is the men's game and the women's game is the women's game. And it's got its own vibe about it. It's got its own flavour about it. But let me tell you something, man. There are some of those Arsenal goals, some of the moves, some of the passages of play in that game from both teams, because in the second half, you know, Bayern really came back into it. Right, was brilliant, and I think Bayern were about 13 games unbeaten. Or something like that.
I really enjoyed it. I watched it on.
Did you watch it as well?
Yeah, I watched it
on TV.
Yeah, it was like on
YouTube or something.
Arsenal.
On Arsenal's website.
On the website, like
that's brilliant.
There weren't a great deal on selling, but even if there was, I thought I'm going to keep an eye on it. But at the end, you know, I'm watching it. I think they're going to nick one right at the end. They're going to nick one, like, do you know what I mean? But the defending,
because they were coming,
piling it on.
Yeah.
Some of the defending from the Arsenal girls was fantastic.
Yeah.
It has to be said, without their best two players. You know what I mean? Like, remarkable.
No
like.
Beth Mead, no Miedemar.
Manager gets booked. You know
he's passionate.
Passionate. There's passion in it.
Honestly,
like, you know,
go and check
it out.
A women's game. It is really, really good. Right, the standard is getting very, very high. It's always been high, but it's getting, you know, because I think as well in the WSL as well, you've got some very good teams at the moment. Like, you know, I mean, obviously you've got Chelsea, who've been dominating it for the last few years.
All open though.
Man United now.
Yeah, well, they're favourites. They're top of the league.
Yeah, now. Man City have got a great team.
Arsenal got Man City this weekend.
Yeah, so they have. Yeah, so I want to watch that
one.
game.
If we win that one, it puts us back in with a chance.
Man City got that striker from Jamaica, right? She's very good, man. You know what I mean? I'll tell you, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
and I recommend it. To
might have a bit of a semi-final, like.
Oh, definitely. You got semi. I reckon, like, you know, as I said, there's 21,000 for that one. Yesterday, which I think was a record for this
record
country.
for the Champions League,
yeah, for this country for a Champions League, and I think semi-final, you know, I think they could double that. I really do. You know, I mean, I'm really glad to see these women getting their flowers, and really pulling these crowds in their own right. You know what I mean? It's great, and when you meet some of them women, I met Beth Mead the other day. You know what I mean? Me and her was speaking on a YouTube event. Lovely person, man. I met Wooben Moy, she's one of the defenders last night. She was brilliant.
Yeah,
humble, lovely girl. I think she lives locally.
Yeah, do you remember do you remember once they come out? They was going to a game. They all come and done an interview, like a load of them, like
yeah.
You know, and you didn't really realise who they were.
Brilliant, man.
She's gone massive from
Leah Williamson. What a player she is. You know, what I mean,
she can play anywhere. She can.
She started to play at centre back, then she came into the midfield, and she was still brilliant.
Yeah. Kim Little's one of my favourite players.
Yeah, she got injured.
I know. Yeah.
By the way, the other thing that's very similar to the men's game are the refs, because I thought that ref last night, some of the decisions, man, Little got absolutely clattered. She didn't give anything. She had to limp off in the end,
which is a worry, because she's a very
top player,
top player.
I'm really proud of those girls, man. Well done to them.
Yeah, well done.
You know what I mean? I'll be there for the
and you can't help. I know it sounds silly. I got into it yesterday, like, you know, because it's the Arsenal, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's part of the. You know
what it's gone from, Lee, right? It's gone from, like, 4 or 5 years ago, you got your men's team and the Arsenal ladies sort of thing, like how a lot of people looked on it, not all, to now, like you said, it's Arsenal.
Yeah, it's very much
the Arsenal. You know what I mean? And that's how it should be. And
stuff Spurs at the weekend.
But at Spurs, I watched that game as well.
Yeah, I watched it.
You know, and of course, Ty was there yesterday.
Yeah,
he was giving it.
He was at Orient as well. We went to the.
He was at Orient. You don't miss those games, man.
You know,
I said to him after the game last night, right? So I go to him. I go, yeah, Ty, do you want to lift home? Because you know he lives just at the top of it, right? Okay, do you want to lift home? And he goes, no. After the game, I'm going to be waiting in the car park. For when they come out, the girls, when they come out to have a chat with them. I'll go, see ya.
Do you know what, the game, which is a great thing, they go round after the game as well, don't they?
They go round
and photos and all that.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant.
Know, it's brilliant. If you've got kids,
there's so many families there.
To a game, then take them there. It's the next best thing.
Yeah, and there's so many families there, so many kids there. Really, really good night. Really enjoyed it. Congratulations to them in the semi-finals of the Champions League.
And Mikel was there watching.
Mikel was there. Edu was there. Ian Wright was there. Ian Wright's been a big supporter of the women's game for a very, very long time. So, now big them all up, man. It was fantastic. Really enjoyed it. But this Saturday now returns the Premier League. And of course, it's Arsenal versus Leeds United. This is a big game. Massive, massive game. Leeds United, who are struggling down at the bottom, but they did win in their last away game, winning that game 4-2. Leeds, I saw that at Leeds, right? That 4-2 victory away at Wolves was Leeds' second away win in the Premier League. Only their second win, just before playing us. And they netted 4 goals in the 4-2 victory. Previously, the most they'd done on the road was 3. Arsenal are unbeaten in their last 13 meetings with Leeds in all competitions. 1-11, drawn 2. So that bodes well. Yeah. Since a 3-2 home loss in May, what year?
That would have been 2003.
2003.
And the week before we lost the title.
We lost the title. Was that Viduka?
Viduka, Harry Kewell. Do you remember Harry Kewell got that one in the clock end, didn't he? Do you remember that goal he got in the clock end? He scored. It was a bloody good strike. I remember, and I was in the clock end that day, right? And he came right by the flag. Anyway, but it was a good. Went off Australians for a while after that. You know what I mean? They was humbling us in the cricket, but I sort of accepted that, but not at football as well. You know what I mean? Bloody Viduka and all. Yeah, but they cost us a couple of times.
Yeah, a couple of times, man. They put a spanner in the works.
Remember when we went to Ellen Road that year and we battered them, and then right at the end, Nelson Vives let Hasselbank go and he headed in at the back post. And we lost 1-0. Lost the league over that day. I think that was 99, was it?
Yeah, so
they've done us a couple of times.
They have. Leeds, though, have won just 2 of their last 23 Premier League games against the league leaders. Drawn 9, lost 12. So then, when they play teams at the top, they haven't got a great record. And as I said, Arsenal unbeaten in their last 13 meetings with Leeds. So it bodes well, but as I said, last away game, a really morale-boosting 4-2 win for Leeds, which will give them a little bit of confidence. And I always looking at it sometimes, I think it's a good thing because it wakes you up as a team. It makes you remember that don't be thinking that it's going to be some easy little walkover. Leeds are coming to try and get a result. Now, looking at the table, Leeds with that win, that did push them up to 14th.
So tight down, isn't it?
We say that pushes them up to 14th, but they're still only 2 points above the relegation zone. And that team who's sitting that 18th place just below that relegation line is West Ham. They've got 24 points. Leeds have got 26, but they played a game less. So Leeds have got no margin for error. So you've got 2 teams, and this is what we're going to get at this stage of the season. You've got 2 teams that have got a lot to play for. Arsenal, of course, going for the league. Leeds United trying to survive. You know what I mean? And for us, we really, really need to win this because playing just before us, our game's at 3 o'clock, 12:30 kickoff, Manchester City versus Liverpool. Big game now. We'll all be sitting there and praying that Liverpool can do Arsenal a favour and get a win in that game. But City are strong at home at the Etihad. They are very strong at home at the Etihad. But that's an interesting game as well, isn't it?
Well, we'll be doing the starting 11 while that's on,
Yeah. Sorry to just to jump in there. I think Arsenal are opening the ground earlier, so that people can actually go in and watch that on their TVs and stuff like that. Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Really?
So that's how they know the significance of that game. You know what I mean? That Manchester City versus Liverpool.
So if we weren't working that, we know that we're going to be in the background, you know what I mean? But say if it wasn't, right? And you're just going to the game, would you watch that game?
Yeah, I probably would. You know what I mean? I don't like sometimes to really, I'm just focused on our game. You know what I mean?
I am. So sometimes people be in that game?
Sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to go and get all invested and watch that game too deeply because it don't matter if we don't do our business.
No.
So, but it is a significant game because it is a game that possibly they could drop points in.
It's the sort of thing like if I was just going straight to the game, I wouldn't go and watch it. I wouldn't get there early. Like a few of my mates are going, let's get up there early. And I wouldn't do that. But if I'm walking around and they're 1-0 up Liverpool, I might. Then you sort of can't. You can't. What I was wondering was, what would the players be thinking? That's like I'm sort of trying to get myself in that.
Do you think players be watching it?
Keep an eye on it, or
I think they more keep an eye on it than watch it, wouldn't they?
You know,
they more keep an eye on it. I don't know. I guess
I don't know how that would work. You know what I mean? It'd be really interesting to ask.
With Arsenal and Mikel, they got to watch that game really in a way. Maybe not then, but because obviously we're playing both of those very soon. We got Liverpool the week after, and we've got City coming up as well. So we're going to want to see how they play that game. So but it's a game of such significance. It happens just before us. Now, if they win the game, listen, the outcome of that game makes no difference to what we've got to do. We've got to win.
Exactly that. Whatever happens, we've got to win.
If they did drop points...
Well, it means more, we've got to win. We've still got to win.
It doesn't really make no difference, does it? Either way, because if they drop points and we don't win, then it was a waste of time anyway. We didn't take advantage of the situation. If they drop points and we win, brilliant. If they don't drop points... which is what I think we have to assume that they won't drop points because they are so strong at home. And then we win, it's still the same. We've got an 8-point gap.
That's how I look at it.
The one thing I would say, this is where that 8-point gap now is starting to help Arsenal because there is no room for error for even a juggernaut like Man City.
Well, the way I look at it, and this is what I'm saying about, I enjoyed the international break this week because it's that was a weekend. Now, up until the end of the season, you're going to get a stress-free weekend. Every Saturday and Sunday is this because of what's going to go on. But for me, say there's 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go in that game, and it's 0-0, 1-1, or whatever. Man City have got to take risks. They've got to go and take massive risks against a team like Liverpool. Massive risk, and it could then open them up because you know what. They are vulnerable on the counter-attack, Man City. That's why Spurs have done well against them over the years. So, listen, the longer that stays 0-0 for me, the better it is because they will have to come out, because of that 8-point. If there was no gap, they'd just go, all right, we'll take what we've got and go from there. But they can't afford to do that, So, listen, it's a massive game. I personally do think that Liverpool will be not good enough on the day, if I'll be honest. I think. Nor do
I. I can't see past
a City win.
I think if it had been at Anfield,
different. Like when we go there the following week.
Yeah, we got to go to Anfield. That's the worst thing about it, right? But I think
Liverpool got a strange running this week for them.
They've got difficult running.
This week really defines it. If they were to go and beat Man City, it gives them, I think, a real chance of top 4. I mean, if they lose that, then then you've got Chelsea away next in Arsenal. I honestly think Do you know what? Not thinking negatively there, yeah. But I also look on it like this, right? If they were to go there and win that game, right, that then takes a bit of pressure off of us the week after. 100%.
Because it means that even if we went there and didn't win,
it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world because, the games are ticking off now. That's the thing. So it's not the end of the world. It takes a little bit of pressure off that game. But if City do win that game, it puts a bit more pressure on us because when we go to Liverpool now, we've got to get something out of that game. We've got to get a result, and that's a place that we haven't won for.
And this is the thing, After this game at the weekend, it's single digits. And once you're into single digits, you know what I mean? And then you're ticking them off, So
stress.
This month's going to tell it all for me. I think these next 2 games are going to tell it tell it through. Arsenal, if Arsenal were to get 6 points in the next 2 games, I think. Seriously, I do. I think because we could, realistically, say if we win this game against Leeds, not easy, but then we went to Liverpool and won, not easy, of course. Then we beat West Ham and Southampton. We actually go to the like 11 points clearer, whatever happens, because they'll
have games in hand.
They'll have games in hand, but 11 points, and then if you actually beat Man City that day and that night, oh my God.
It'd be nearly there.
It'd be
no, man, stop making me dream, man. Let's
just concentrate on Leeds.
Focus on that Leeds game now.
But this is what you're going to see. I don't care what anybody says. Walking up that stadium, we've been walking up, giving it large. I'm going to be nervous. You know what I mean? This is now the business end of the season now.
Business end.
We've put ourselves in this position.
Time. This is it.
The business end. It's the business end. The running.
Crunch time. This is what it is. Right, we're going to speak a little bit more about the Leeds game. Just before we do that, right, let's just get into our pick 10s. AFTV Pick 10. Remember, you can do yours. Download the app AFTV Plus. And you can get involved right now. There's a prize pot of £10,000 for the Saturday Pick 10. And also there's a Leeds United special. Last week, both me and Lee got 8 out of 10 right. Now, however, we only won £3. £3.39 because nearly everybody got 8 or 9 right.
Yeah. Bloody Wales. I love me Welsh team, you know what I mean? I actually put Croatia down to win. 96-minute bloody Croatia, Wales equalised.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have got 9 out of 10. My aim in life now, right, apart from Arsenal winning the league, is to get 10 out of 10 in this bloody game. You know what I mean? 8 out of 10 is the best I've got. And when I look at it, realistically, 8 out of 10 was a 6 out of 10 in normal circumstances because everybody was getting 8 out of 10.
Don't forget, this week we're doing something absolutely unprecedented. AFTV Pick 10 as a free-to-enter league where you could win from a combined prize pot of £5,000.
That's an open goal, Robbie.
Yes, Lee. You still have to be over 18 to play.
And you get 2 free entries as well.
And so it's easy to play. All you got to do is go to the AFTV Pick 10 website by clicking the link in the description, choose the free league, and make your picks. So make sure you get involved in that. But let's look at the...
Before we start on that, right?
Yeah.
We've got a little thing on Instagram,
what's that?
Who's got the best chance of going to Hollywood, right?
Because what do you mean when we do the ads?
We've done the little
promos.
We've done that, and what they're going to do is on the Instagram stories.
Listen to this guy.
They're going to put a little poll out who has got the best chance of going to Hollywood out of those 2 that we've done.
He fancies himself as some big actor now, you know that?
I do.
He fancies himself as some big time actor.
I'm looking for an agent out there. Give me a little partner film. So
whoever the agent is, you're going to have a lot of patience here because be willing to sit around while he does about 50 takes. You know what I mean? For each.
Well, Zachy, he creates all these things. Doesn't he?
He's brilliant.
He's brilliant at doing them. So and he has got the patience of a saint.
Right. Like now, there's so 1,000 prize pot for the Arsenal versus Leeds United special. Full-time result. I'm going
Arsenal. Yeah.
Both teams to score.
I always say no, right? Every time I want a clean sheet, right? But in Forever Arsenal, I'm up against it in that, and Jordan and Turkish have gone above. They're above me, and they've gone 2-0 and 3-0. So, and I do think it's a 2-0 and 3-0 game. But because I've got to try and make up some points, I've gone 3-1. Because every time someone scores, but. I think Arsenal will get a clean sheet in this
I'm thinking a clean sheet as well. So I'm going to go no, both teams won't score. Over 2.5 goals. I fancy goals,
more than 2?
Yeah, I'm going to go 3.
What, 3-0?
3-0, yeah. Over 4.5 cards. No, we don't really get many cards nowadays, hopefully. First half result, Arsenal to be winning for me. Martinelli to score at any time.
Yeah,
yes.
Go on, Gabby. Yeah, he's had a lovely little rest, Gabby.
Arsenal to have over 6.5 corners. If it's going to be a 3-1 game. It's always hard to predict that one, but I'm going to go
corners
yes.
is an hard one.
And Odegaard to assist at any time.
Oh, got to back Martin, haven't you? That's a tough one.
He hasn't assisted in the last couple. He has. Yeah, I'll go yes.
Yeah,
I'll go yes. All right, so.
Did you start Jesus in that game?
Yes. So listen, I wanted to get. I'm going to get onto that in a second. Sorry. All right, let's just quickly do our pick 10 as well.
Go on. Yeah.
Luton v Watford. That's a bit of a tasty local derby.
Who are you going for, Luton in that one?
I'll go for seeing as you got these haters out there who say I'm a Luton fan, I'll go for Luton. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm going for Watford. Well, Luton are going really well this year.
They got a chance of promotion.
Yeah.
I think they're in the playoffs.
You'll be in trouble then if Luton come up.
I know, man. What am I going to do? What am I going to do, man?
Luton Town TV, here we come,
Oh, that is one of the you know that little thing that goes round, right? I'm like, some of these haters, man. I just have to.
What about there was a video going around this week, and there you was in the background.
Oh yeah. How did someone spot that?
It's incredible.
How did somebody spot that? Yeah, that was.
Still didn't have no hair, by the way.
No, I had a little bit of hair.
A little bit of a tough there.
No, I had hair in that, man. That was 2004.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
there you
2004.
are, sitting in the front.
Yeah, you know what, right? And let me tell you what's really funny about watching that, yeah? You see, if you see the video or you see the still, there's a guy sat in front of me, right? That guy, I remember that guy, right? Like, I used to have, that's a hybrid, I had my season ticket. That guy used to sit in front of me. Remember, it used to be him and his missus that used to come. They were Scottish. And that guy was the most miserable guy, man. He always used to be going, Thierry Henry, you're lazy. Get back, track back, right? And I always say to myself, right, I don't know if he still goes. I've never seen him since, when we went to the Emirates. But I always think to myself, that guy was so moany in those times, right? When we were going Invincible and that. Imagine him over the years with the teams that we've had in between. He's about absolute meltdown because honestly, I remember he always used to be on, he used to have two players that always used to be on their case. He always used to be on Reed's case and he used to hate, name slipped me now, man. Our winger man with Thierry Henry. Perez. He used to have Perez. Get stuck in, mate. Because Perez never liked to tackle. You go, get in there, get stuck in there. Yeah, the fancy Dan. Honestly, that guy was incredible. I can only imagine what he'd be like now, man.
Do you imagine what he'd have been like with Ozil?
Oh my God. But just moving on, Man City versus Liverpool. I'm going for a draw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go City. Unfortunately,
you're probably right, but I'm just trying. I'm hoping. Inshallah, I'm praying. Cardiff versus. Oh, that's another tasty game. Another local derby.
Oh, Cardiff Swansea.
Ooh. Cardiff Swansea. I remember years ago we was down at Swansea when Swansea was in the Premier League. And I chatted to these Swansea fans and I just made a joke. And I said, my second team's Cardiff, man. And they turned on me and wanted to fight me.
I know. They don't.
There's proper hatred there,
man. There's a proper hatred there.
Oh, that's a tasty game.
Cardiff, you got to go.
Go with your home team.
I'm going to.
Cardiff.
As they're your favourites.
Norwich versus Sheffield United, another good game.
Norwich, that's a difficult one. Yeah.
Can't Marquinhos, man. Draw. Bournemouth versus Fulham.
I've got a little feeling for Bournemouth. No Mitrovic. No Silva. I don't think he's on the bench now.
Going Bournemouth. Arsenal versus Leeds. Arsenal. We've already said.
This is a tough one.
Crystal Palace versus
predict
Leicester.
This is where.
Ain't no one getting 10 out of 10 this week.
Everybody gets 10 out of 10. They're cheating.
They are a genius if they get 10 out of 10.
Because how can you
Palace Leicester?
How can you call that game? That could go
Roy Hodgson.
Either way. Oh yeah, Leicester away.
All right, Leicester. Nottingham Forest.
Oh, another one.
Nottingham Forest versus Wolves.
Got to go home.
This is why the Premier League's the best.
This is why it's great.
Yeah.
You cannot predict anything.
You're going to home win. I'm not.
You're not.
Nah. Draw. Brighton versus Brentford. My God, the games this weekend are brilliant. That's a tough one to call,
Brighton can get. Do you know if they win their games in end, they get top 4.
I'll go Brighton.
Come on, Brighton. Come on, she goes.
Brentford a very good side, man. Very good side.
Out of everybody, I'd love Brighton to do it. Like, you know, they've only got to lose one game now to the end of the season. That's against us. They win every other game. They could get Champions League football.
Chelsea versus Aston Villa. Even that's not hard to. That's not easy to call either because Chelsea are down. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go for a shock Villa win.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No wonder you don't do too well in this. Ollie Watkins.
Anyway,
Charles Cecil scoring, I tell you,
Anyway, AFTV Plus, just check it out, and you've got yourself a chance to win £10,000 in that as well. So with all those specials, and as you said,
look, the Premiership is back.
Yeah.
There's some games in there, aren't there? Like, you know,
brilliant.
You've got Everton, Tottenham on the Monday.
Yep. Oof.
Managers Tottenham.
They've got no director of football even.
They got nothing.
What a mess they're in, man. Jeez.
Are they in a mess? You know what I mean? Like someone said they're in a crisis, right?
No, they are.
Right? Are they? I've known it when they got relegated, Robbie. That's a crisis. I'll tell you what, I've known it when they've been in the bottom half of the table.
But when you think about how
they're in the top 4 at this moment in time,
the optimism that they had at the start of the season to where they are now, it's all falling apart, and it's all gone wrong.
All because of the Arsenal. It's in that we've got in here.
Arsenal's affected it, and then that rant that Conte did the other day, and then this guy Parachiki, you know what I mean, like he's part of that Juventus thing where they got done again, and he's got a worldwide ban. So incredible. Anyway, who cares, right? And that's a tough game. They've got to go Goodison. Hey, I'll tell you what, man.
I do like a toffee.
Yeah, well, come on, because every Spurs fan wants us to trip up and bottle this league. Yeah. So, going back to the Leeds game, what would your starting 11 be? And by the way, again, you can use the app to download your. Where you can decide on your 11 here. You can see it there. That's what I've got.
What you want or what you think?
What you want. Right. So in goal, obviously Ramsdale.
Yeah. Ben
White at right back. Where's it gone? He should be fresh. That's one good thing as well.
Don't start me on. That's the only thing that's really wound me out about England. You got Reece James, who had to pull out because he weren't fit. Right at the end of the day, you know, Willie Walker played well. I've got to say that. I think he was superb in both games. But Ben White should have been in that squad.
Walker's 32 now.
Do you know what?
They've got to start
They've got to start looking at that
between White and Saka. You know what I mean? So,
but you know, something's happened there. So look, listen, it don't benefit England. I really do believe it. I don't think it. I think you know it does.
Benefits us anyway because he's fresh. So
Saliba, if fit, he plays. If he's not fit, Holding.
If he's not fit, Holding. But if he's fit, Saliba.
Gabriel, another one
that should be rested. He didn't have any international football.
Lovely.
So that was good. And at left back, Zinchenko. Or Tierney, who had a great
Zinchenko. Particularly at home.
Yeah, Tierney did play really well the other day for Scotland. Partey, if fit.
Yeah, if
fit. So if fit, Partey should be in there. He should be fit by the sounds of it.
Xhaka and Martin.
So that doesn't change. Granit Xhaka and, of course, captain, fantastic. Martin Odegaard in there as well. And then, obviously, Saka. Martinelli. Now this is the interesting one, right? Martinelli, not Trossard. So Martinelli. Yeah, so Martinelli.
Yeah.
So this is the interesting one because you've got options for that striker position. You can either go false number 9 Trossard or Gabriel Jesus, who's had by the way now, has had an extra couple of weeks just to sharpen himself up. He hasn't been away on international duty. Trossard has been.
Yeah.
Who do you go for there? This is where I think it's going to be really interesting to see.
Jesus for me.
and I'm in agreement with you. I'm going for Gabriel Jesus.
Did you see that injury thing that he done? Like, you know, when they on the app where it shows his injury coming back and all that. Like, oh, you know, the dedication of it all. Like, you know, the mental strength for that man, I think, is one reason why Arsenal are where they are. Not just him, a couple of others as well. There's a thing about him, and I just think that for me, you play your best team now every game.
I think with Gabriel Jesus, I think, listen, if we remember back to the start of the season when it was that partnership of Saka, Jesus, Martinelli, they were terrorising defences.
Terrorising.
All three of them pick the ball up, dribble, run at defences, causes panic. I want to get that back together again. I know Trossard's been brilliant, and listen, Trossard can come on. He's an option. He's a very, very good option. But in this game in particular, I'd like to see, and plus as well, we got to get Jesus up to speed as well, because we got that game against Liverpool. And I think with Liverpool's vulnerabilities at the back, that's what you want. You want them three running at Liverpool up there at Anfield next week. But to me, one of the weak spots of Leeds United they've been their defence. Yeah. They ship goals, right? Gotta get stuck into them at the Emirates. I think with M3, Saka, confident as hell after his excellent performances. Jesus, you know, he looks sharp even when he's coming in the last couple of games. And Martinelli's been scoring goals for fun. That for me is the three. That's the three that's got.
For me, it is. Listen, if Trossard plays,
I think that's the strongest team.
It's the strongest team you can get out there. If Trossard is playing, and Jesus, I'm not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
But I think now, for me, that's it.
I think with the break that we've had, it's time to unleash Jesus now.
Yeah, he must have had some sort of game behind closed doors, surely, or something. Like, maybe. I don't know, but like, you know, it was interesting. Like, you know, they've kept him back, haven't they? Like, he was fit a couple of weeks ago, not fit, but he was training. Like, you know, and they kept him, put him in the Fulham game, played him against Sporting. Then he's back on the bench, knowing that they got this international break. Just push him a little bit more. I'm pretty sure. I'll be very surprised if he's not.
You know the good thing when I look through that team. The good thing about it, right, is that despite the international break, there's a lot of players that are going to be returning when we play the game at the weekend that are going to be fresh. Ramsdale didn't play for England, right? Ben White didn't play. Saliba didn't play. Gabriel didn't play. All right, Zinchenko was away for 2 games. So was Odegaard. So was Partey. So was Xhaka. So was Saka. Jesus and Martinelli haven't played either. So they're going to be all chomping at the bit. They're all going to be, you know, that we should be at it in that game against Leeds. We should really be at it. And it's so much to play for.
That's a terrific point you made there, because when you're a team like Arsenal at this moment in time, challenging for the title and all that, you'd expect more players playing for international. I don't know how many have gone away for Man City, but I reckon there's a couple more that have played.
Yeah.
To have like 2 of your main strikers, 2 of your main defenders,
free,
and whether Saliba's fit or not, and your goalkeeper as well, all nicely fresh. That ain't, you know, the only worry for me is that midfield. All 3 of them have had to play a couple of games.
Yeah.
So listen, but get over Saturday. They've got a week's rest. You can rest for a few days, can't you? Have a little bit of a break, bit of training, bit of rest. For the next few weeks, we're in a real good position where we can do that.
I just keep saying it, man. If we keep everybody fit, we got a great chance of winning this thing. So Leeds United, man, on Saturday, massive game. Lee, I wanted to get your thoughts before we wrap it up on Arsene Wenger inducted into the Hall of Fame this week. Deserved?
100%. You can't.
Of course, it
can't knock that. Like, of course, it's deserved. Actually, after the Arsenal ladies game on Sky, they showed the Arsenal Wigan game. The whole game, like, you know what I mean, and I watched that. Even though, you know, it was the day with Spurs, you know, with West Ham and all that, like last game of the season, you know, like Henry at his very, very best. Arsenal were some side Highbury era.
Brilliant.
You know what I mean? Like, and even like in the, you know, the Emirates era when we was getting fourth with some of the teams we had, you have to look back at it and think, wow. Without a doubt, for those first 10 years or so, you cannot. He took Arsenal to a level that, I'll be honest, I never thought we could get to.
He established the modern day Arsenal.
Yeah, it was just incredible. Like, you know, not only just
known for playing the best football, Invincible season, titles, FA Cups,
bringing players through, and making them world class. I was looking at that side the other day. You know, Ashley Cole. You know what I mean? Whatever you think about Ashley Cole, world class. Toure was converted to centre half. Class. You know what I mean? Like, Sol Campbell was a beast. Vieira.
Perez. Henry.
You
know,
Fabregas, he turned into his super circular. Anelka up front that day. You know what I mean? Like,
he was sort of the first manager.
Was a great player and all, you know.
He was just, Reyes. He was sort of like the first manager who would just go and get some player, right, that no one's ever heard of. And next minute, you know, he's a superstar. Like Vieira.
That's a great thing, because if you
he's sort of the first manager to do that, wasn't he?
Yeah, you look at it, and listen, and I'm not...
Pluck some unknown from France.
Yeah, and I'm not criticising Ferguson when we say this, but Alex Ferguson could go out and buy a £30 million at the time,
he had the budget,
to buy Rio Ferdinand, the best English central defender. He went out and bought Wayne Rooney when he was the best, you know, like young kid and all that. Like, he had the budget to do. Arsene Wenger had to create players like Lauren, convert him into a right back. He had to convert Toure into a right back, central defender who was a midfield player. And then he bought people like Lundberg and made them into world-class players, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't deny that, you know. Alexander Kleb, who wasn't really nothing, turned into a terrific player. Fabregas, you know what I mean? That is the one thing that he had.
You know what I mean? He just needs to get these little...
see a goal that he scored the other day against Newcastle. It was on telly. Do you remember when it come down, he shot and smashed it in?
He scored one out against Tottenham as well.
Tottenham as well. You know, brought him from nowhere. He was, you know, in that game, he was bought that season. Highbury also was... Theo Walcott was there, like, you know what I mean? Like, come for it. You know, he built some... unbelievable. Aaron Ramsey made into a world-class player. I don't care what anybody says, you know what I mean? Like, he just done it time and time again. And, you know, that teams... I remember this, you know, like saying about that fella at the moment. Do you remember we drew 1-1 with Portsmouth?
Yeah.
I said to my dad, if we play, we never win the league playing like that. You know what I mean? Like, we went unbeaten.
Very lucky,
you
that.
And you didn't really appreciate how lucky we was to have him there. I know it all went wrong in the end, but I know there's a lot of Arsenal fans that still can't forgive what happened towards the end, and I get. But I'd rather look at his 10 years.
You got to forgive. Yeah, you got to, because, you know, and then we've since heard like a lot of the, you know, the real constraints and that he was working on. You know, the one thing, and I've said this on other platforms, that the one thing is, if he'd have gone a few years before, he wouldn't have had certain things hang in.
One thing I will say this, though, about Arsene Wenger, right? You know, he had all the restraints, but he never done, like, you know, what Tottenham have got now with Conte and all that. Like, no, but seriously,
it's true. He had more excuse than anybody to do a Conte,
and he never did. He never moaned. He got on with it, done it, and kept that Arsenal ship running. Like, when you look at what's happening with Tottenham now,
it's true.
They never had to, you know, walk into a board meeting and say, look, you know, he made Van Persie into a striker. You know what I mean? He was a wide player, made him into a world-class striker. Then, by the way, Arsene, you've got to sell him. By the way, you've got to sell him. You've got to sell. You know, Conte's never had none of that.
Yeah.
And still having a meltdown of it.
After one season.
Yeah, Arsene Wenger kept that ship running.
A meltdown after spending £200 million.
Well, you know what I mean? Exactly. So when you look at what he actually done and restraints that he actually was under,
it's incredible.
It's incredible. And he could have moaned about it with what he'd done. And it must have been a bad. I also like knowing that, you know, someone you didn't like. You know, not no disrespect to it, they didn't like each other because they was at each other. And you see Ferguson winning trophies, and he had to, you know, be happy with fourth and all that, like, and keep doing what he was doing for Arsenal. You know, I know that he put us in the doldrums towards the end, but listen, you know,
definitely deserves. And I want to see, you know, I saw that somebody said the other day in saying Wenger built the Emirates, but Arteta switched the lights on. Right,
absolute great quote.
That was a great quote. That was a great quote that we saw the other day. But I think there needs to be a recognition from Arsenal as well, like whether it be a statue or whether it be
stand named after him.
I kind of like the stand named after him. They named one after Old Trafford after Fergie.
Yeah,
I think there should be one of the stands named after Arsene Wenger. I really do.
Talking about it being, but did they fix the leak in the roof? Like
the leak was fixed. So well done.
So Arsene got up there, they didn't fix it, did they? Well
that
done,
leak was fixed, man, because it was absolutely pissing
well done,
down.
Arsene.
That was at a sporting game, innit?
Yeah,
fans, I felt sorry for them, man. They got absolutely like a bucket being thrown on them, but that was fixed.
So well done, Arsene. Got up there and done that. Like,
they fixed that leak, yeah.
So I'm you know,
a stand or a statue.
Why not both?
Both, all right.
You know, I wouldn't be against either, really.
Especially when he's so integral to that stadium. You know, I feel...
Wouldn't have had it if it weren't for him.
Yeah, so it's got to be one of those.
By the way, it's got to be bigger now.
You think?
Stadium's got to be bigger now, like, you know what I mean? They've got to do something. Because you've got so many fans...
Yeah, it's true.
Try to get tickets to games and that, and they can't, you know what I mean? Like, now, I know that a couple of years ago, it was, you know, it was half empty. But when Arsenal was successful, and that goes for any football club, if you're successful, people, you know, it's like that, you know, was it a Kevin Costner film when he says, you know, build it and the fans will come. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Well, that's the same with football, like, you know what I mean? You build a successful team, the fans will come.
And even in our doldrum years, we were still getting
out. But we should be, you know, they should be looking now to...
What, 80,000?
Yeah, I do believe, because it's not fair on, and I'll be thinking this, you know, like kids growing up and things like that. You can't, you know, they can't get to games. You know, like, and when this is when you take the opposite. I've always said this, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you've got kids that are supporting Manchester City now and Chelsea. Why? Because they're successful. When Arsenal now are back to where they are, everybody, you know. This is when the kids want to come, and you've got to, you know, they've got to look at now building that. They've got the room. It's not like they ain't got the room, Robbie. Like, you know, I mean, I see. We went to Liverpool, or going to Liverpool in a couple of weeks. I went, you know, past there, went to Everton. Massive new stand that they've built over. You know, they're building and building. Arsenal have got to do the same now. Like, you know, you can't have 20,000 people missing out, and not being horrible, like. 20,000 people missing out, and then you know, other people getting tickets when I don't know how they're getting them, and real fans not being able to go to the games. They've got instead of saying, "Oh, we can't do this with tickets and that," and trying to do restraining that, make it bigger.
Make it bigger. Great idea.
So that's a job for Mikel.
Well, listen, we come to the end of the show today. Just before we go, we've got also saying. A big tribute going out to Claude.
2 years.
2 years since his passing. I couldn't believe that when I saw that a couple of days ago.
I remember you phoning me up the day, like, you know what I mean? That was terrible.
It's terrible. Rest in peace to Claude. We're going to be doing the Claude Cup. Remember last year?
Yeah.
We did the Claude Cup. I was chatting to his daughter yesterday, and we're getting that all back on again. So the second Claude Cup is coming. It will be at the end of the season. So look out for that. And remember, they've got a great charity that they do where, in Claude's memory, what they do is they raise money to do things like take kids who will never have the opportunity to an Arsenal game and things like that. So it really is a fantastic charity. So coming soon, the Claude Cup Part 2. We missed the guy, man. Claude.
Do you imagine what
would he be thinking this season?
Like, listen.
Oh, man.
What I loved about Claude is that he would moan and groan about Arsenal like I did as well. Like, but when we were winning, That was the best thing, you know what I mean?
He was at his happiest. He would have been loving this season, man. It's such a shame that he's not here to see it.
And he'd be going, he was worried about it as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He'd be very worried about this running.
He'd be like, oh, God. We got to go, Liverpool, we got to go. You know what I mean? Like, but listen, you know, passion he had for Arsenal and all that, like, you know.
Unmatched, man.
Unmatched. And
Unmatched.
2 years.
2 years, man.
Time.
2 years, COVID. The COVID times. That's when he passed away from this heart attack, but it's a real shame. But anyway, we've come towards the end of the show today. It's been a great show. Listen, guys, don't forget you can do your AFTV picks. You've got the Saturday one with a prize pot of £10,000. You've got the free one, the AFTV free one with a prize pot of £5,000 and also a prize pot of £1,000 for the Arsenal versus Leeds special. So get involved in that. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. And good luck to you guys, but it's the big one this weekend. Arsenal versus Leeds. Let's just tick this one off. Let's get the win done and move on to the next one. But this is it's squeaky bum.
We're on the run.
It's nerves time. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks, Lee.
No worries.
You can get this podcast on all your normal formats as well as here on YouTube, and we'll see you next week. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.